Hey folks, welcome to Not Psychologist Talks, where Jason, a psychologist by legacy, and Yurii, a psychologist by Ilker, community to community folks, are getting to openly talk about complex things and issues to remove that stigma and solve them together. And we had previous episodes, and Jason shared his story. We had Chris who shared his story. And now it's time for me to share my story. And yes, my name is Yuri. I have trauma. Woohoo! Let's talk about it. And just before going to the recording, I told Jason that I have kind of three main points. I would say that the first one is like sense of guilt when something is going wrong, when I'm talking to my wife or whatever, and for example, she tells me like, "Oh, it's a bad weather," and I'm like, "Ah, maybe it's bad weather because of me. What have I done?" You know, but like it's definitely
So it's your fault.
kinda, I guess, I didn't predict the
It
weather, and
rained this past weekend. That was you?
yeah, sorry, yeah, god damn it, but I can't promise it won't happen again, unfortunately, but I mean, like, kind of like that, when something is
Hmm.
happening. So it's not like because of someone, most likely it's because of me.
Hmm.
The second one that I'm like thinking about that totally diminishing all the work that I'm doing. I've recorded 100 episodes of podcast, whatever. I know people who recorded 300 episodes. Like I've built a community and had a conference for 700 people in person without ever doing something like that. Who cares? Everyone can do this, not that hard. And yeah, I'm kind of recovering. I'm learning to value myself, but I feel like it's still somewhere deep inside of me. And the third thing, it's kind of like hate to let people down and say no and live into their expectations, even though they've never tell me about their expectations. I have expectations for people, for me in my mind. So I set these expectations. And I feel like the first part to kind of like recovery, it's naming the demon. So here are I definitely there are much more demons, but it's three my main demons that I'm currently trying to deal out. And I know their names, hopefully. So I feel like I'm getting better.
Well, there is a psychological term for this, and it's the family systems. And I actually think I might be missing a word before family systems, but it's uh yeah, I'm not a therapist. I'm just a therapist by what was it through legacy.
Legacy,
Yeah,
exactly.
my father and my grandfather. No, but the family systems, and it's naming that emotion, right? That you're feeling at that time. Like what is that feeling? What is that emotion? And recognize it. We actually do it with children, right? I don't know if you did this with your
Yeah.
children when they were younger,
No,
right?
no.
No, you didn't teach them there.
I wasn't that wise,
Okay.
like now
Well,
I know how it works. I feel like
yeah,
that with the next children I will know how to, I can't promise, but
he's
at least
prepared,
I
folks.
will know it. At least I will keep it in my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a whole like chart of all the emotions, and then I had actually mentioned before we started recording. I was like, "Did you see the movie Inside Out?" And there was actually the person, one of the they consulted like experts on family systems
Hmm.
for that movie and naming
Wow.
those emotions and how they drive. They basically take the wheel, right, of our lives. Our emotions dictate a lot of how we react to things and how we respond and who we are.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, it is good that you can name them right away. That's the first step.
Yay! Of 100 step program.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. You too can be better 3,000 steps into this process.
one step per
Kind of
day,
how it
but
feels sometimes, right?
and I was thinking like, why the hell I'm feeling this way?
Mm.
And I was like coming like definitely every therapist tell you go to your childhood, find something there, think about like what caused this. And I'm like, I I was thinking like what the hell caused this? So kind of like my backstory. So I totally do not remember what happened before I got 6 or 7 years old. So it's like this data vanished from my mind. That's why I'm always asking people on community life conversation, like from the what age do you remember yourself? And if people tell me that I remember myself from 2 years, from 1 year, from three, I'm like, wow. And I remember myself somewhere from 7, 6, 8, something like that. So definitely something happened back then. So definitely my brain locked this part of my childhood. I have no idea. I kind of get why, because my mother divorced with my father, and even though my father was like great sportsman, he was skiing and he was like almost European champion back then. It was like when the Soviet Union was, and
Yeah.
he was like pretty successful, I would say. But then, when the Soviet Union crashed, many sportsmen didn't know what to do. They started drink, so he started to drink, and they divorced. And I have like a few, like very few memories of seeing my father. Like one memory is like we are flying a kite. Another memory, he bought some like gun with balls and we are kind of like shooting things. And the third memory is he getting back home with his face in blood, and somebody just knocked him because he did something when he was drunk. And I don't remember anything else. And so I was growing up without a father, and grandfather was my main male figure, I would say. And the fun thing that I was kind of growing without a mother, not in a way that she like left or whatever, but I'm still analyzing. Like definitely it's her life, and so she was building her new life, and basically she found another man, which is super good. He never was like a father to me, but like kind of like normal guy, whatever. And basically all my life, like the till I get married, really, I was living with my grandparents, and I was seeing my mother like on weekends, on holidays, like 2, 3 times a week. She's coming, she's staying, she's coming back, etc. So like here and out. And I was thinking about my grandfather and my grandmother, about like emotional stuff, etc. And I do not remember they kind of hugging me, like I do not remember they telling me some good words like, yeah, you're great, you are nailing it, yeah, you're the best, whatever. Something I'm trying to tell to my kid, but not just, he done some shitty thing and like, oh, you're great. But in a way that if he really doing something nice, and once again, I don't want to add tags, so I'm trying to do it as carefully as possible to ask him how he feels about it, etc. Now I'm that wise, not that wise, but like, and I do not remember somebody ever telling me this, like anytime you are achieving something, anytime I was achieving something, I do not remember like congratulations or like some kind of support. Maybe it was, but I cannot recall it. And I'm thinking like, where is this meh thing and the part of guilt? Part of guilt I kind of understand, every time we had a conflict or a fight with my mom, grandmother came to me like, yeah, yeah, I understand. Go and apologize. Like, even if you're wrong, just go and apologize. She'll be happy. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll go and apologize. And now I'm thinking, like, why did I apologize if I didn't think that I was wrong, And now, like, with my kid, I'm apologizing like to him if I did something wrong, if I let my emotions go, or if I said something bad to him, and I'm like always like talking and like, yeah, I totally get it. I did it wrong. Like I was angry or whatever. Like, sorry, I didn't mean that. So I want you to know that I love you, etc. But I don't recall having this type of conversation and stuff. So yeah, I would say it's a part of a backstory. So I'm super happy to hear your questions, Jason.
Whew, well, thanks for sharing, that those memories in the early stages of Yurii. We've never talked about that.
Now,
Uh, I also have my parents were divorced when I was 5, so young, like yourself, and can can in some ways, uh, understand a bit about what you were going through, but completely different cultures,
Yeah,
completely
yeah.
different upbringings. How much do you think your culture played into, perhaps how you process the guilt and how you're feeling? I mean, you basically said you didn't ever receive positive reinforcement. There was no like,
Hey,
hey,
it could be something like, yeah, you're, yeah, like
mm,
go for it, etc. But you know, like when you are like what I learn right now is that if someone is doing something great, like you can say good job, you can say great, awesome.
mhm,
Why? Like you kind of like put in this tag. So great, awesome, bad, not awesome, etc. Like why? Why do you think it's great? So every time that I'm given a feedback, I'm like, you've I think that you're amazing because of this, this, and this. I really love this part. I really love this part. So I'm trying to give that kind of feedback. So I cannot recall receiving this part of feedback, you know. So
mm,
I maybe could be right, but like could be doing something good, but I have no idea why.
yeah.
So it's like in general, like if someone in a good mood, yeah, you're great. If someone's in a bad mood, yeah, you're bad. And once again, I don't really remember my parents kind of apologizing. So I was the person who has to apologize. Like
So
you
can
have
I
to be
ask
the
a question?
strong, you have to be stronger. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how years old. I'm a teenager. I'm like, why I have
Mm.
to be stronger than my parents? It's kind of weird. But yeah.
I think kids of divorce are thrown into very uncomfortable, hard things early on in life and have to process stuff that's just way beyond what they are equipped to process. It's an
And
adult
you
thing, not a
And you
kid thing,
know,
right?
one more thing. So, I heard stories of divorced parent, and they kind of like kept well, normal relationship. So, kid went out with dad, kid went out with mom, whatever, lived with dad, lived with mom. So, kind of okay. And so, my mother, what she done? So, she totally blocked my father. So, he came. He was
Because he
from
was an
another country.
alcoholic.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
So, yeah, at least that she was telling me all the time.
Hmm.
And so he came back to his country of origin, and I I even know that he was calling me. So since 6 years old, every birthday, every year, he was calling me till I was like 14 or 15 or something like that. And it was like this. So he's calling, and my mom's like, "Ah, this, it's your father, alcoholic calling. Do you want to talk to him?" And I'm like, no, I don't want to talk to him. Like in this way, when you're like, this crazy man is calling, kind of like, do you want to
Did
talk?
you really want to talk to him and you were saying that to
I
appease
don't
your mother
know. Yeah,
or
exactly. Definitely.
yeah.
I don't, I do not remember if I wanted to talk to him, but I
Hmm.
definitely know that I said it to please my mother. And she put it in this way that if I would take the phone, I would be bad.
Yeah. So you felt guilty for wanting to speak to him,
So I
but you
couldn't I
felt
couldn't
like,
even, yeah, so she
yeah,
put it in this way, like,
mhm.
are you not talking or are you not talking? So like I kind
That's
of
a
having
lot.
no
That's a lot to
choice.
put on a kid.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to talk. Exactly. Like,
Hmm.
why are you asking me? Like, it's obvious.
Did you blame yourself for your parents' divorce? Did you ever go through those feelings?
I guess no,
No.
because yeah, so I cannot blame myself. I think that it's their own decision. Like, I
Well, not now,
didn't
but
I
then.
didn't really feel this part. So I kind of didn't understand what happened. So my father just
Mm.
disappeared from my life. So
Okay.
I do not remember what happened before 6 years old. Then he disappeared. And then the next thing I remember, I was living with my grandparents. And then the
Mm.
rest of my life till like growing up, I was living with my grandparents. So basically
Wow.
it's kind of like, yeah.
That was an abrupt, jarring change in your life
So it
then.
was
It was just
like
like,
this, it's like,
yeah.
and the fun thing that at that period of time, so my grandparents purchased a new house,
Mm.
and then we came there, and I was living with them, not in apartment they were living before, but we kind of like moved together all together in this new house. So it was a lot of things to do. So we had to renovate it, we had to build a garden and do the stuff. So basically, no time, so for sitting and thinking and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And you think, I mean, there's so many ways where I could see guilt playing in as an emotion that you might have felt a lot back then, especially if you're being told, you know,
One interesting anecdote. My grandfather, like he's already dead, but he was never the kind of person who will ask for help.
hmm,
So he clearly needs help, but he will never ask. He will do everything for you to see, oh, he needs help. And I was this kind of person who, like, I didn't see it, like I didn't want to see it because, like, I'm reading a book or I'm playing computer. Why should I go and like help? And my grandmother comment to me, uh, yeah, like he's really struggling. Maybe you can go and offer your help. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I'm going and offering help. And the fun thing is that later on, like on our street, just a few houses away, people were building new house. And there were some builders, like totally unknown builders. I don't know them at all. And I came to them every day. Nobody asked me. And I helped them to build this new house. So I was going
wow,
out, I was helping them. I was not going to help my grandfather. And I'm thinking about it now. They were cheering me. They were like, "Oh, you're amazing! Thank you very much for helping us, etc." And I remember when they finished this house, they even granted me some flashlight. And I was like, "Oh my God, flashlight! It's so amazing! Like, wow!" So I was super happy about this. And now, as a grown up, I'm thinking like, why did I do this? They just told me that I'm great.
exactly.
They kind of like thanked me for all the things I'm doing, and like they encouraged me to help them, and they didn't ask me to do it, but they noticed it. And my grandfather didn't see it. Like I was helping, yeah, I was helping. I helped him a lot. Maybe I don't know. I never know. So I felt good kind of helping him, but there were never no feedback. So basically, like, did I do good job? Did I do bad job? Like, did I help you? Like, was it helpful? Was it not? Who cares? It's like black box. You never know.
Lots of confusion. Yeah.
Yeah,
How are you supposed to
and I
feel?
didn't think about that back then. It was like
Hmm.
just a part of routine. Yeah, okay. Grandmother telling me I'm going, I'm helping, I'm coming back, I'm free. Okay, I can go play football or go read books, etc. So it's like a part of chores, like I have to do it and then I'm free.
Isn't it fascinating? Because as adults, I feel like we sometimes forget what enormous impact our actions have on children because they're so fragile. Their minds are so fragile. They're forming, right? They're very much in development years. And like, what we might deem as a minor nothing is hugely impactful on the future of this child as they go through life and into an adulthood. And like your grandfather could have just not been a very like sometimes people aren't that emotive, like they're just not, and that could probably, I'm assuming, be from his own upbringing and how he was treated as a child. And we are all just victims of continuous trauma through generations.
And
But like that just shapes you. It has such a huge impact.
And the fun thing that it's definitely a part of a culture because if like coming
Mm,
back to Soviet Union times, like this camaraderie, like everyone is the same, like oh you are doing something for others, like
mhm.
you are not better, you are not worse, like work hard, do hard. Like if there is celebrations like this official celebration style, like you receive some certificate or I don't know, like watches and whatever. And it was pretty much the like I'm thinking about I recently seen I don't remember the name of this comedian but he is Chinese American and he was like comparing American style and Chinese style of how they raise children like American, yeah, you're great, go for it, and like Chinese, yeah, you piece of shit, like do this, you can do this, okay, you can do this. So it
Yeah.
was kind of like pretty much the same, like in culture that when I was growing up. And definitely, so I'm 200% sure that my grandfather never thought about this. Like he never, it was not something they were openly talking about. I feel like right now in the culture that I was growing up, people started to at least think about things like that. But we were far, far behind, in comparison for the US, in comparison with Europe, etc. So, like, definitely, I cannot blame him for sure because he totally didn't know how to deal with it. So he was doing what he was taught to do, and
Yeah.
that's how it is. And the fun thing is that currently nowadays, I'm like, if I'm doing something wrong, if I see my kid upset and I want to like, oh, whatever, I won't do this. I won't go to him and talk to him and apologize. He have to understand that he was wrong. But then I was like, okay, I will go and talk to him. I will save some his future money on therapists. So,
Well, that is the big difference between, and I think we were, at least for me in America, I don't know, because the cultural differences, like you said, are so much in this
yeah.
area specifically. Um, you know, I think we were my generation was the last generation, growing up in the 80s, and then coming of age in the 90s, and um we were probably that last group of like we were the latchkey kids. We were our parents were single parents. Divorce was more popular. Mom was off
Mhm.
working. We were just home doing God knows what. And then dad, we saw, every other weekend or something.
Yeah.
And I just think the parental style was just different, and it's obviously changed now. And yeah, a big part of difference that I see is we apologize to our children. We say
Yeah, it's
sorry.
crazy. It's
Like we give them that we're really trying not to fuck them up as much as I think we were.
we know everything right now. We know how it can be, and
And we
like,
don't. And I'm sure in their generation they're going to do even better. And hopefully it just gets better rather than what I think was happening, which was this continuous pass down of trauma over and over and over again without and mistaking it for like culture, or mistaking it for tradition, or something like that. It's like, here's my trauma, that was tradition. It's like, no, it doesn't have to be that way. We don't
yeah,
have to live like this.
it's not okay. No, it's
No,
not okay.
I
Like,
think that's different. It's just recognizing that it's not okay.
yeah, and the crazy thing that um I'm still thinking about it now, and I'm kind of like analyzing. So I think what is really helpful is that so many people nowadays are talking about this.
Hmm.
So there are so many podcasts, there are so many TED Talks, YouTube videos, different conversations, like even in community building. So like community builders are those people who kind of like help people, like I would say that group therapists, and understanding all this and even having like conversations that we have, it's super helpful to understand, to make these distinctions between okay and not okay. And I feel like that sometimes I have a conversation with my wife and she's telling me, I think I'm overcomplicating things here, or maybe I'm not doing the things that has to be done here, etc. And I'm like, yeah, but you already know this, so you already on the step one of this 300 step program that you already know this. So it means that you can really tackle, what you know. And the way you will do it, yeah, exactly. You can listen to conversations. As we always do a disclaimer, like we are not professional therapists, so you can
Not at
go
all.
see a real therapist
Yes,
and
please.
talk to them,
Yeah.
and they can help you for sure. Hopefully, if you are finding good therapy. Okay, so no, my story.
Well, I want to go back a little bit to the third thing and link it to the first thing that
Yeah,
you had mentioned that you wanted to tackle. Because, and I think that's part of the next steps, right? Is being able to link some of these and put together, like weave together uh what actually is happening in your life so that you can process it, because like you said, you didn't have a chance to process it. Many of us don't process it when we're going through it. That's why we got to deal with it now. um it is the guilt, I'm sorry, the expectations.
yeah,
And we kind of touched on it, the expectations that you put on your grandfather. And then you step back and you're like thinking about it. It's like, well, he didn't ask to have, you know, a kid in his house. You know, he didn't ask for the situation that he was dealt. I think also being somewhat empathetic to the situations that the others were in. And sometimes it's even more powerful to understand it of the people who were not blaming, but
Yeah.
who we have that feelings toward those feelings towards, you know, and empathetic to your mother's situation. She didn't ask for the situation she was in, you know, and understanding the depth of that. And then the expectations that we put on them as children, the only people like the and actually in life the only people you owe anything to is your children. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
Yeah, they can do without you. And
That's right.
the fun thing that I kind of processing these things, and like I don't know if I can have conversation. Most likely I don't even think I thought about this. Like, what if I had conversation with him right now? What would I
Mm,
tell, etc., etc. But I feel like it would be too emotional for me, and maybe I'm not ready for that. Even that I could, I bet my mother has his phone number, whatever, so I could ask her. And the crazy thing that I tried to talk to my mother about how I feel,
yeah.
like kind of like not in a way that I'm blaming you. So I'm not blaming her. Like, yeah, for sure. Like, but every time I kind of try to tell her, I feel this way. Like, it's hard for me to appreciate all the work that I'm doing. And like sometimes I feel this sense of guilt, etc.
Mm,
Like every time I try to talk to her, she's like, "Oh, I was a bad mother." Yeah. And I'm like, "Oh, shit. Okay, whatever. Forget
yeah.
about it." So I don't want to talk to another kid. I have a kid to talk to. And like I try to do this like 2 or 3 times, and she's like, "Oh, I was a bad mother." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, we're not talking about it. What's the sense? If you
It's
think
too
that you were a
hard
bad
for
mother,
them.
it's your problem. Go to therapy, talk to someone about being
Exactly.
a bad mother. It's not my problem. Like I'm telling you how I feel. You can just listen. You cannot tell anything to me. Just listen. Like say, yeah, okay, maybe say you're sorry if you feel sorry, but whatever." And I feel like it's super important. That's something that I'm trying to. I feel like that's something I have in my life already. I don't blame people. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I don't know, but I'm not blaming people. If something goes wrong, I'm thinking like, what have I done wrong? What can I do better?
Why do you think you feel that way?
Because I think that in every situation there are two parts, like, and nobody's perfect. And I kind of like agree with it. And I'm sure that I'm not perfect. I can be a dick for, for sure. My wife and kid can tell it for sure. Even my dogs can say this, I guess, if they were able to
Show me
talk.
who's not at something like
Yeah, exactly. Everyone
like
can.
yeah.
So somebody who doesn't know me can, somebody who saw some of the podcasts or some of the videos, they may, "Oh, Yuri, he's very fun and outgoing guy." Yeah, but yeah, everyone who like was in my life a little longer was like, I'm like, yeah, he's a dick, like good dick, like in a way. But
It's like it reminds me, are you a good dick or a bad dick?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
A good
So
witch or a bad witch?
it's always a difference. But and like I can't change other people, but I can change myself. So it's something that I learned. It's something that I learned in my 30s. I learned that it's okay not to be okay. I learned that I'm not perfect. I learned that I have my ebb and flows. I learned that like I learned about the responsibility, like what it means. And every time something goes wrong, I won't be the person to blame others, even if others were wrong. I can encourage them. I can point something how it can be. So my mind work in not in a way like who's guilty, but in a way how we can fix it.
Mm.
Now, definitely like when I was teenager, when I was in university, I would blame everyone for everything. So
Do you think you're just overcompensating now to make
Yeah,
up for that
exactly.
time?
It's like positive discrimination. I heard this
Yeah.
words.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's it's tough. I feel like sometimes we blame ourselves as a quick answer to it rather than like truly processing what's going on. And also that can tie into that third one of expectations, right? One of the best tricks that I learned is to lower my expectations of people as much as possible. Not like I think you're going to be awful, but like I'm not placing any burden. Like I'm not placing anything on you
yeah.
other than what you are showing me. Like I don't want to do that. I don't want like if I walk into a room and I've automatically got lenses on, like I know I have a lens on, right? You got
Hmm.
to try
Hmm.
and do your best. This is the part that's like, yeah, easier said than done, but like remove your lens, right? And see the world as much as you can through other people's eyes and through empathy, um, which is really hard. And then especially for people who you know and
Especially for your closest people.
your closest
It's so
people.
hard to see this like in your family. It's like the
Yeah,
hardest part because they are the closest. There are people who will be with you no matter what till some point.
yeah.
But yeah, and I feel like we have to say a huge thank you to our partners, wives, husbands, children who are with us, like
Deal
who
with
are
that.
going through all this shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like I feel like every time like we definitely fight. I sometimes ask people like, do you fight with your partners? If somebody told me like no, we never fight, I'm like, what's wrong with you? Are you aliens or something like that? But definitely we fight, and I feel like it's making us better. But if we understand it, if we are
Yeah,
still doing the same thing over and over again, yeah, it's not the best way to do it. But if we are going through this, we understand this, we like work it out, cool. It will never happen again. Maybe it will happen again, because emotions, nobody turned them away. But and I really love the way you phrase it, that having no expectations in a good way, like exactly, not people are dicks around, and but in a way that you do as you do. Like you do something for me, amazing. Like
yeah.
even you say good words to me, thank you very much. You're the best. Like if you are not doing whatever. So and I feel like it's something that really helps to go through this. So um I see it many times when, for example, we schedule a podcast conversation with someone and people are like, oh my God, I'm so sorry I can do this. I have another meeting or whatever. Like, I'm super sorry. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, sure, no worries. Let's just reschedule it right away. What is the best time next? So I'm trying to make things as easier as possible. Maybe it's overcompensating, but also it's easier for me. I don't have to, oh, this rated person, they didn't come the time that we agreed. Now I have to change my whole plans, etc. No, not at all. Like, okay, not now, maybe tomorrow. Not tomorrow, maybe in a week. Not in a week, maybe in 2 months. And that's what I really love. I have few people that I'm having like asynchronous conversation on Slack or LinkedIn. We can continue conversation 2 months later and it will be still continuing. So it's not like somebody's feeling guilty that didn't answer or didn't send a message. Like I feel like it's having no expectation in this way. It's really, really good. And that's something that I'm trying to teach myself, that people maybe don't have expectations for you. If they have expectations for you, looks like it's their own problems. So at least if they did it,
100%.
at least if they didn't tell me,
Yes.
if my client will tell me, we expect from you to have the strategy like in 2 weeks time, I'm
That's
like, yeah,
different.
fair
Yeah.
enough. Thank you.
They're
But
paying you.
if
That's different. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But even if like, I don't know, my wife tells me like, I expect from you that we are going to vacation, like, so shut the fuck up your work and like go have fun with me. I'm like, okay, sure, I understand it. But if there are unsaid expectations, someone like thinking, overthinking, blaming you, etc., but you don't know about this, how can you do something if you don't know about this? I can't read people's minds.
You're never going to please everybody. You're never going to be perfect. You're never going to meet everybody's expectations, but you control how you feel about that and how you react to that. The only thing that we have is our own ability to control. So when setting expectations or managing expectations to make a healthy relationship, I mean, I've spent a lot of time because if there's people in your life that is hard to be around sometimes because of baggage, right? Because of past trauma, you have to figure out how to manage that relationship and manage those expectations of those people. Because if you're disappointed time after time after time, it's just going to erode the relationship. But if you
Yeah.
find that healthy balance of managing the expectation that you're placing on that person, because you control that, what you can't control is how they will respond to you. But as long as you understand that and let that piece go, you don't owe them anything. You don't owe them. You owe nobody but your kids. Remember that? Like you owe nobody in this world anything but your children. That said, if you want to maintain healthy friendships and have healthy relationships, yeah, you're going to live up to expectations that those people are placing on you. But that's because you want to. That's
Yeah.
the difference. You
Yeah.
want to maintain that. When it's an unhealthy environment, an unhealthy experience that you're having with someone, but for some reason you still have this person in your life, then you just have to manage those expectations accordingly. And the one word we haven't mentioned in doing that is boundaries,
Mhm.
having clear boundaries that you maintain, because that's where the gray area can come in, especially if those boundaries keep getting, pushed.
Yeah, and I feel like it's even professionally, it was so hard for me to say no. Like
Mhm.
if a client, we agreed on this thing, and then they, by the way, can you do these five things? I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, yeah, I
Yeah,
can do this. And now I'm like, can totally say, yes, I can do this. It will cost you this amount of money.
there you go.
So,
You know your worth.
or I can not do this. I can do both. It depends on you, how much you pay me. So, but you definitely cannot say to your family like, it depends on how much you will pay me.
Wouldn't that be
But
nice?
but it would solve many, many
You'll
problems.
certainly manage that. Yeah, I think you just solved the world's crisis with
Have a family
family.
have a family budget, and just like put in money from one jar to another,
Yeah,
in a way
yeah.
like, oh, by the way, you owe me $200 for that thing. You do you remember this thing? Yeah, so $200. Here's an invoice for you. So, but yeah, I feel like in family relationships, I really love that you say that if you want to, because it's totally make a huge difference. And the way I'm trying to help my side of relationships with my wife, if I want to.
Yeah,
And everything I do for her, I do just because I want that, just because I love like when she smiles. I love to make her happy as much as I can, or like make her at ease and etc. Not because I must, because some people can say like, yeah, in a marriage you must do this, otherwise you have a bad marriage. But just because like, I want, I really want it. So yeah,
that's
it's
how it
it's
works. Like I used to think there was a rule book with how you manage relationship. Like you have to go to these family things. You have to have these relationships with these people in your family. You have to like that's at least that's what like I used to hear a lot, right? And I think a lot of us as we're being raised, like you hear these things. Um, maybe not so much today, but maybe you do. I don't know. But what I've learned, and I think what you're saying is, I've learned through adulthood, there's no rule book. There's no rules to this. You have that control. You could say who's in your life. You could say what relationships you can have. You manage those expectations. It's on you. And then I feel like when you could take that control and you could take that back, that's how you start moving forward and can process and start having healthier relationships, good relationships, positive relationships, like the one you're describing with your wife, where you can say, I just want to make her smile. I just want to have a good relationship. I want to have these things.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's a long way to go, but
Hmm.
even just talking to you and sharing all this stuff, I feel like it's kind of like not going away.
Yeah.
But when you have this rainy day, then you see sun shining behind the clouds, and it's getting better, I would say.
Good. Because I charge $200 an hour. So I'm
Okay,
gonna
so
send you the invoice.
so basically, I'll send the invoice for
That's
episode with
right.
you, and you with me. So like we are
We're
covered.
even now. All right,
That's how it.
perfect.
By
Yep.
the way, my our work costed 201. So
I owe you $1. Okay, fine, whatever.
yeah, I'm kidding. Yeah, yeah, I'm kidding. No kidding. You never know. But
You
yeah,
never know. I'm gonna get an invoice from Yurii for $1.
no, you will get it like in 50 years, and it will be
Okay.
like taxes and
I was gonna
stuff.
say if you mail it from where you are to me, it probably costs you $1. So who's
Yeah,
really
exactly.
making out here?
But anyway, like so. First of all, thank you very much for having this conversation with me, and I
Yeah, thank you.
definitely, hopefully, I bet there are people who feel pretty much the same. I'm not telling that's all those three things together, but at least one or two combined, or if three, it's like a match. Message me right away. Let's talk about it. But I really hope that it'll help to kind of like understand that you are not alone. Everyone is going through this shit. And if you are reading like LinkedIn posts, happy LinkedIn posts, just know that there is some sad things behind. And it's totally okay to be not okay as long as you understand it and you're working on it and you are getting professional help if you need it. And as long as you have friends or people like Jason and me who you can always talk about it. And if you want to share your story, you know where to find us. Like go to LinkedIn, go to Slack, go to anywhere, send us a message, and let's talk about your story.
Yeah, yeah. And processing and having these times to feel the feelings allows us to enjoy the joyful moments even more. So it's even more important that you do that. I have had a lot of people reach out to me, Yurii. I don't know about you, but like I get them in the DMs, I get the messages. And a lot of people are finding value in these, which is fantastic. And that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted to start making some change, break down that wall, that like remove that stigma. Um, I am challenging everybody to go public with these comments only if you're comfortable, but I really am it's a challenge, right? To you to do that. And if you're so comfortable and if you get to that point where you're comfortable enough, like Yurii said, we would love to have you on the show and tell your story so that we can keep these going and keep making change.
And one thing I
Thanks,
can
Yurii.
definitely promise that you won't be judged.
Absolutely
We'll have
not.
fun. We'll have fun. Let's
Yes,
have fun. Maybe we'll
that's right.
cry a little, but in general, overall, we'll make it a sunny day.
That's right. That's right.
And yeah, see you in the community world.
Thanks, everybody.